Thank you for joining us. Saltwire is thrilled to be hosting today's exciting announcement by Ronald McDonald House Charities Atlantic. My name is Kate Walker and I'm pleased to be your host today. Over the next 30 minutes, we'll be sharing how this great organization is making a difference and the plans they have to help even more families in the coming years. As we begin, I'd like to share that I'm currently in the Ronald McDonald House on Tower Road in Halifax, a special place that has supported more than 20,000 families since they opened their doors in 1982. We would like to acknowledge that the house sits on traditional territory of the Mi'kmaq. We are all treaty people. I'd also like to remind everyone that it is Black History Month, a time to honor the legacy of Black Canadians and their communities. Ronald McDonald House is proud to support families from all backgrounds, so please know that everyone is welcome here. We're so pleased that you have taken the time to join us this morning. Over the next half hour, you'll hear from families that have stayed at the Ronald McDonald House, from members of the organization's leadership team, and from special musical guests. As you can appreciate, volunteers are the backbone of charities, and this organization is very fortunate to have some incredible leaders at the helm. To kick off today's announcement, I'm pleased to introduce Leslie McLean and Scott McCain, volunteers extraordinaire, and the campaign co-chairs behind this exciting project.
Thank you for your opening remarks, Kate. And we too are very grateful that all of you have taken the time out of your busy schedules to be here with us this morning. We're also grateful to be involved with such a wonderful organization as Ronald McDonald House. For those of you who may not be aware, Ronald McDonald House in Halifax provides a home away from home for Maritime families that are traveling with their sick or injured child in need of hospital care. And what's particularly, well, there's so many things that are wonderful about the house, but in particular, it alleviates the huge financial burdens that the families would otherwise have to face if they had to pay for their own accommodations and meals. The house also provides an amazing support system and a community of support that comes from other families that are in similar situations, but also from those working in the house that know how to meet the needs of families going through such a troubled time. And this is especially important when you consider that they're away from their families and their own community of support by having to travel to be there. And really, most importantly, it keeps families together at a time when they need it most. However, unfortunately, in recent years, the requests from families has far surpassed the size of the house that we have. So we can't meet the demand that's ahead of us and current. And in fact, we've had to turn away 1 in 3 families, which has been devastating.
In response to years of wait lists, we're thrilled to be sharing today that we're building a brand new Ronald McDonald House to ensure that all Maritime families with sick children have a safe and comfortable place to stay when traveling for their sick child's medical treatment. The current house supports approximately 600 families a year from every corner of the Maritimes. The new space will double the number of families we can accommodate to approximately 1,200 families a year. It will also transform the overall experience for those staying with us. Of course, a project of this magnitude requires the support of many. Today, we are publicly launching the More Room for Love campaign that will help to bring this vision to life. The goal of the public campaign is approximately $3 million. It is our hope that you will be inspired by the families' stories today and that you'll join us all as we make more room for love.
Thank you, Scott and Leslie, for that introduction. This project will be a tremendous step forward for Ronald McDonald House and for the families they support. To shed some light on how it feels to be one of those families, next you'll hear a message from Breton Bannister from North Wiltshire, Prince Edward Island, who will share his family's experience at Ronald McDonald House.
Hello, my name is Breton Bannister. I was diagnosed with congenital heart disease at 6 months old. At the time, we were living on Prince Edward Island and only had to go to the IWK about every 6 months. By the time my first 2 surgeries came along, we were living in Halifax, Nova Scotia. They were both minor surgeries, however, for my second one, I ended up being placed in the ICU. A social worker at the time got in contact with RMHC Atlantic and got my mom a room inside the hospital, which was perfect for us as we both knew that we were so close to each other. By the time my third surgery came along, my dad's work took us to Spring Hill, Nova Scotia. This time, my whole family stayed at the RMHC Atlantic House. the night before my surgery. It was so much fun. I just remember playing video games with my brother, coloring with all the other kids there, and just having a really good time before this surgery, which wasn't one of the best things, but RMHC made it fun. My fourth surgery was about the same, but this time we were living in Prince Edward Island again. Not many people know, or at least we didn't know until around 2015, that you could actually stay at the RMHC home for appointments, not just surgeries, as long as there was room. I hope that everybody tries to donate, or at least helps in some way, because RMHC Atlantic is like a home away from home, or a safe haven in these troubling times when you're having surgery and your family is trying to afford to be there with you. RMHC gives them a place to stay. Donate what you can.
Thanks to the Bannister family for sharing your story and for your incredible strength and spirit. At this time, I'm pleased to introduce to you performer Sandra Lecoutere from Miscou Island, New Brunswick. Bienvenue, Sandra.
Bonjour. Quel honneur pour nous et quel bonheur de participer à ce si beau projet. Bien que le manoir Ronald McDonald se trouve à Halifax, la maison nous appartient tous. Elle héberge des centaines de familles du Nouveau-Brunswick, de l'île du Prince-Édouard, de la Nouvelle-Écosse rurale qui voyagent pour le traitement de leurs enfants chaque année. En 2019, une famille du Nouveau-Brunswick y est même restée 245 nuits. Peu importe d'où vous venez, de Miscou, de Tracadie, de Memramcook, de Moncton ou même de la baie Sainte-Marie, les familles qui utilisent le manoir pourraient être votre ami, votre famille, vos voisins. Alors, merci de partager ce message, puis merci de donner généreusement. Et pour le faire, pour vous encourager surtout à le faire, je vous amène en voyage avec Nicolas Basque à la guitare, Julien Brault à la contrebasse, et on vous amène sur la mer. Je pars à l'autre bout du monde, sentir le vent et les marées. Voir si la terre est vraiment ronde et qui habite de l'autre côté. Je pars à l'autre bout du monde, toute seule à bord de mon voilier. Et si jamais la terre est ronde, je reviendrai pour vous chercher. Je partirai à l'aventure avec mon bagage de courage. Je m'enfuirai dans la nature aux limites du grand naufrage. Il n'y aura jamais de montagne qui pourrait défier mon chemin. Et même si mon soleil s'éloigne, je survivrai à mon destin. Je pars à l'autre bout du monde, sentir le vent et les marées. Voir si la terre est vraiment ronde et qui habite de l'autre côté. Je pars à l'autre bout du monde, toute seule à bord de mon voilier. Et si jamais la terre est ronde, je reviendrai pour vous chercher. J'emporte ma curiosité pour découvrir ce qu'on a perdu. De ces millions de nouveautés, remplir mes yeux de jamais vu. J'irai au bout de mes conquêtes, au pays où règnent les rois. J'irai jusqu'à y faire la fête de ses richesses et de ses joies. Je pars à l'autre bout du monde, sentir le vent et les marées, voir si la terre est vraiment ronde et qui habite de l'autre côté. Je pars à l'autre bout du monde, toute seule à bord de mon voilier. Et si jamais la terre est ronde, je reviendrai pour vous chercher. Je reviendrai pour te chercher. Soyez généreux. Merci.
Un gros merci à Sandra Lecouteur pour cette belle performance. Bravo! Mon nom est David Savoie et je suis un des plusieurs volontaires de l'équipe de levée de fonds. Cette équipe de volontaires a comme but de réaliser un rêve pour les provinces maritimes. Au tout début de mon engagement à cette cause, j'ai été surpris d'apprendre qu'au-delà de 40% des familles qui parviennent du Nouveau-Brunswick viennent à cet établissement. Bien sûr que cela est logique, tandis que le centre IWK supporte toutes les familles des provinces maritimes. Certainement, il y a plusieurs bénéfices pour un projet comme celui-ci. Évidemment, non seulement qu'il y aura une augmentation du nombre de chambres, de logements pour les familles en besoin, mais aussi ce logement sera situé directement devant la porte d'urgence du IWK. La nouvelle édifice inclura des chambres spécialisées pour les enfants qui ont un système immunitaire compromis. Il y aura aussi des espaces spécifiques pour livrer des programmes de support pour les familles qui sera là durant un court séjour. Je veux aussi souligner que chaque chambre aura leur propre salle de bain dans leur unité, ce qui n'est pas le cas couramment. En tant que père de 3 enfants, je peux seulement imaginer le stress et les craintes d'essayer d'aider un de mes enfants qui serait peut-être atteint d'une maladie grave. En plus, j'imagine qu'un stress de surplus existerait si on ne soit pas chez nous et les coûts additionnels de logement et de nourriture qui s'ajoutent durant une partie d'une vie difficile d'être dans une autre ville. Comme grande communauté des Maritimes, nous pouvons s'entraider et assurer que les familles qui nécessitent du logement et du support l'auront en temps et lieu. Je souhaite que vous puissiez nous joindre et visiter le site d'internet moreroomforlove.ca. J'aimerais de voir vous pourriez faire un don à cette cause pour nous aider à atteindre notre but de 3 millions de dollars pour aider cette belle cause. Notre communauté des Maritimes a besoin de votre support plus que jamais.
I'm now pleased to introduce to you the Guinaud family from Bathurst, New Brunswick, who will share their experience with the Ronald McDonald House.
Bonjour, on est les Guinaud. Moi, je suis Julie.
J'ai Addison.
Larry.
Puis j'aimerais juste remercier le manoir de Ronald McDonald pour tout ce qu'ils font pour nous autres. Quand on a des rendez-vous à Halifax, on reste 5 heures de Halifax, on reste à Bathurst, Nouveau-Brunswick. Alors, c'est pas évident de voyager loin de même. Les autres sont toujours là pour nous aider, pour avoir une chambre, pour avoir n'importe qui pour parler, pour les repas. Si on n'aurait pas les manoirs Ronald McDonald, il faudrait qu'on s'arrangerait pour aller dans un hôtel, mais on sait tout qu'un hôtel est pas, c'est pas cheap, c'est plus cher que rester à la maison. Puis on a toujours le support de tout le monde qui reste là pour les volontaires ou de parler ou des rendez-vous avec Dylan. Quand on a su que Dylan, sa moelleuse fonctionnait presque pas, fallait qu'on aille à Halifax vite, puis ils nous ont juste pris comme leur famille. So, on voudrait juste dire merci à tout le monde et continuer de les supporter. Bye!
Bye!
Bye.
Merci and thank you for sharing your story with us today. My name is Lori Barker, and I am the CEO of Ronald McDonald House Charities Atlantic. Let me start by saying how blessed I feel to work with such a great organization, especially during such a transformational time. Every day, we have the privilege of supporting amazing families. These families are resilient, they are strong, and they are full of so much love. And it is for these reasons that it is so difficult when we have to turn them away because we don't have enough space. It is also these reasons why we're so excited to share today that we are indeed building a new Ronald McDonald House to better support these families moving forward. While our current house has served us well over the decades, it was originally built as a single family dwelling. So one kitchen, one dining room, one living room to support one family. Now we can typically support up to 18 families, so you can appreciate some of the limitations in that space. And we want to do better in the way we support these families when they're staying with us. As was mentioned earlier, the new house will double the number of families we can support. In addition, it will be fully accessible, which is a major limitation in our 100-plus-year-old house. We'll also have so much more space for families to enjoy their meals, programming, and quality time together. In addition, we will have spaces to support children with seriously compromised immune systems, currently a limitation in our current space. While today marks the launch of our $3 million public campaign, we have been working hard over the last while to mobilize support from both the public and private sectors. And of the $24 million project budget, I'm thrilled to share today that we are now at the $21 million mark, thanks to the incredible support of our 3 provincial governments, the Government of Canada, as well as so many donors who have stepped forward throughout the Maritimes to support this project. You'll hear more about these donations in the coming months, but in the meantime, we wanted to say a special thank you to those who have joined us early on. Now we're turning to you for help, our Maritime friends and families. Please donate today to help make more room for love. Of course, we wouldn't be where we are today without our founding and forever partner, McDonald's. I'm so pleased to introduce you to Bob Smith, McDonald's owner-operator from Nova Scotia. Over to you, Bob.
Thank you, Lori. On behalf of all the owner-operators, I can say that we are truly humbled to be part of the amazing work this charity makes possible day in and day out. We've been involved with the organization since its doors opened, and we are very proud that the Ronald McDonald House remains our charity of choice. Each year, we contribute substantially to the annual operating budget, and we are pleased to be supporting this important campaign at the leadership level. We are incredibly grateful to the many community partners who have stepped up over the years to support the growth of this mission. From businesses to foundations to service clubs and to individual donors, we thank you for joining us in the critical work, and many thanks for helping to make more room for love.
Next, the Rodenizer family from Bridgewater, Nova Scotia will share their family's experience staying at the Ronald McDonald House.
Hi, I'm Juanita, and this is my daughter, Haley. And Haley was 7 when she was diagnosed with
leukemia, and we ended up having to go to the hospital. And it wasn't a very comfortable place for kids. It was scary for them, and it wasn't comfortable for parents either.
It was also really noisy with all the beeping machines and all the noises there.
And we finally got a spot at the Ronald McDonald House, and things were a lot more comfortable. It was more like a family.
I liked making new friends and playing with the volunteers and baking and cooking there, so it was very nice.
And it took us a little while to get a spot at the Ronald McDonald House, but when we finally did get in, it was so much more comfortable than being at the hospital. So you never know when you're going to need a space like that, a place where you can relax and talk to people who know what's going on and have the same sort of thing going on. So even if you don't have young children, you may have grandchildren or cousins or friends or even just associates whose kids have to go for hospital care and don't always have a place to stay other than in the hospital. So the Ronald McDonald House is a really great spot, and you liked it, didn't you?
I loved it.
Thank you.
Thank you to the Rodenizer family for sharing your story with us today. Finally, before we leave you with an uplifting performance from the wonderfully talented Stephen McDougall, we'll turn it back over to Scott McCain and Leslie McLean, campaign co-chairs for the More Room for Love campaign.
Family is everything to Scott and I. We are incredibly proud to be involved with this great organization and the important work that they do on behalf of maritime families with sick children. And we continue to be inspired by the family stories and the impact the house has played in their journeys. And we truly hope that you feel the same way. So we want to thank you all again for joining us today to learn more about this important project.
Sincere thanks to Saltwire for hosting the launch of this event. Thanks as well to everyone who participated, to the campaign cabinet who have been working tirelessly to raise funds, to the board of directors who have advanced this critical project, to the donors who gave so generously, and to the staff team and volunteers who work every day on behalf of all the families. Your collective contributions make magic happen. As we part ways, we ask you to think about the families who were impacted by Ronald McDonald House. These are your friends, your family, your colleagues, your neighbors. From Campbellton to Brunswick to Surrey PEI, this house belongs to all of us. Please give today. Your support is important no matter what the size, and will bring us one step closer to opening the doors of this amazing new space. We'll close today with a song you'll be hearing more of in the coming weeks. It speaks to who we are as Maritimers and the power of coming together. Over to you, Steve.
Hi, this is Steve McDougall from Cape Breton bands Slow Coaster and Holler. Being a touring musician, I know how long that drive from Cape Breton to Halifax can be. Ronald McDonald House helps families stay together during some of their most stressful times. And even though the house is in Halifax, it doesn't belong to just Nova Scotia, it belongs to all of our maritime friends. This is a song that I wrote for the house. It's called Me, You, Us, and We, about family and togetherness. And it goes like this. I smile with you, you smile with me. Dreams do come true when we believe. We're so good together, better than ever. Me, you, us, and we. Me, you, us, and we. I sing with you, you sing with me. Let's be the change we wanna see. We're so good together, better than ever. Me, you, us, and we. Me, you, us, and we. The love we grow today makes tomorrow a better place. Yeah, dance with you, you dance with me. There's nowhere else I wanna be. We're so good together, better than ever. Me, you, us, and we. Me, you, us, and we. We're so good together, better than ever. Me, you, us, and we.
us and we.
Thank you, and please help however you can.
And that's a wrap. Thank you again to everyone for tuning in this morning. To keep up to date on the exciting plans for the new Ronald McDonald House, you can follow Ronald McDonald House Charities Atlantic on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at the handle @RMHC Atlantic. And please help spread the word. But most importantly, please donate today and help make more room for love.
I smile with you, you smile with me. But dreams do come true when we believe.
Each year, our Ronald McDonald House keeps more than 600 Maritime families together when they need it most. With your help, we'll build a new house that will support twice as many Maritime families.
We're so good together, better than ever. Me, you, us, and we.
Donate today and help make more room for love.